I don't think there is a quick way. I think you have to do the grunt work. I think you have to go through every step and every stage and listen to as many clients and do as as possible to then be able to help you automate in a strategic way.
Okay, peeps, I'm really excited to welcome the fabulous Christina Salvo from Simple Separation. Welcome, Christina.
Thanks for having me on the show, Claudia.
It's fabulous to have you. So Christina runs a mediation practice and specialises in divorce and separation, and she is based in Melbourne. So Christina has been part of our Scale Up program for a while now, and it's been really exciting to see her growth over the last 18 months or so since she started her business. So I'm really excited to dig into that today to find out all about what you're doing, all the innovative things and how you're doing it. So let's get started. So first up, I'm keen to hear about your business's mission and vision.
Okay. I've been really going over my vision lately, and it has changed. And I actually am constantly revising it. And this is what I've come up with at the moment. This is where I stand at the moment in terms of my vision. So I'm going to read it. The vision is to create a future-focused pathway for separation that is fair, simple, affordable, and protects the emotional well-being of families.
Nice.
The vision. The mission is that we use a hybrid of mediation, technology, and legal services to be able to create a pathway for people to separate respectfully.
Nice. And what about your values?
Okay, so our values, and again, this has been, that these have changed again, but these are, and there's three that I think I've nailed it now. Well-being is number one. So we're passionate about the well-being of families. Simplicity is the other one, because we want to make the separation process really convenient, quick and easy. And fairness is the third one. So we care about making separation fair and respectful and collaborative.
It's interesting, isn't it, how mission and vision refines or becomes refined over time, and how as you grow those things become more important, and as your team becomes bigger it's so important to refine those things to be able to communicate them more clearly to your team. So tell me about your team.
Okay, so my team consists of mainly mediators. So we're family law dispute resolution practitioners is what we call them in Australia. So I'm a family law mediator, and there's 5 of us that basically work on cases and help people reach agreement, and we do it all online. But we also have people who we've got booking consultants or separation consultants who also do a free 30-minute consultation. We have a team of paralegals that help with communication between the independent lawyers and the mediators and the clients. So there's about 12 people, and we have a team of about a panel of 4 independent family law practitioners that provide legal advice and legal services to our clients.
So how many people is that all up?
I think it's about 15.
Right. And so when you think about the mission and the vision that you just shared with us, how do you communicate that to your team and get them all jazzed about it?
Well, I'm just thinking about when I've interviewed mediators and lawyers, I talk to them about, I guess, what the vision is. And I talk to them about what I see as my why I want to do it this particular way. And I think it resonates. My why is that I'm trying to help people separate better because it preserves people's well-being. And I think if you can find people who are like-minded and share that same philosophy, I think if it resonates, then they want to join something that they equally feel passionate about. So I think the people that work with me really, really do share the passion that I have. And I think, it has to be that way.
Yeah. So you're saying it sort of starts right from the recruitment phase. You only bring on people who are totally there and aligned with it.
Yeah. So I talk to them about my values. I talk to them about my why and what I'm trying to create. And,
Yeah.
I've spoken to people or to lawyers, for example, that it doesn't resonate with them and they like the traditional way. So it's not for them. But if you're looking at a bit more of a non-conventional, unconventional way of doing things, which might be a bit more positive for families, and it resonates, then that's all I can say on the matter.
Yeah. And so in terms of your role in the team, what do you do and how many hours a week would you work?
So I run the business. I don't actually serve clients anymore. I did for the first 6 months. So the first 6 months, I did everything. I did all the mediations. I did all the consultations, and I ran the business. I even did all the bookkeeping. I did everything.
Yeah.
So I worked pretty hard, and that was to really be able to help me create my systems. So a lot of what I do is systems and processes. And if I haven't been able to, work with clients, and how am I going to design it? So that first 6 months was that. And then from there, one person after another would join, and now we're at 15 people.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah. So in terms of, to answer your question, I now don't work with clients. I provide the support to the team. I make sure the processes are working. I'm constantly refining processes. I do a lot of the advertising and the marketing, but I work with subcontractors, and I work with, a team of people. So I'm more working on the business. I don't work really in it. I would say that what I have to do with clients would probably be maybe 5 hours a week where I might need to get involved in a particular matter. The rest of it is all working on the business.
Right. And so how many hours a week would you do, would you say?
I work a lot because I feel that that's what's required in the early stages. I'm a startup and I've only been around for 16 months.
Yes.
So I'm still in that stage of working 6 days a week. I do work 6 days a week. That's not...
You're still in hustle mode, getting it off the ground. Yeah.
I'm in that mode where I want to scale up. I want to grow quickly. I don't have to. I want to, and I love what I do. So for me, it's not because I have to. It's just because I'm really keen on progressing, and I feel like this is the time to do it now.
Yeah.
Why wait?
Yeah. You're ambitious. Yeah.
Ambitious. Yeah.
Yeah. Very entrepreneurial. And so in terms of you made a really good point about how when you were doing everything for the first 6 months, like how can you, how can you scale or how can you automate when you're sort of not involved right at the start, getting some systems in place? And that reminds me of when I had my online conveyancing service, and how for probably the first 6 months, I took a lot of the calls, I sent a lot of the quotes, and it was all very manual. But through that process, I was able to see where it needed to be automated. I was able to talk to the clients and hear their concerns and their worries about, not only buying a property, but also working with us. And the questions that they asked. And then that's truly why I think I was able to create that automation. And that was so popular with the clients, was because I did that grunt work at the start, which was so tedious. And I can remember people being like, I can't believe you do that. And I was just like, it's going somewhere. But it's, and I think that a lot of law firm owners think that when it comes to growth and scaling, you need to automate everything straight away and you can skip that kind of hard graft part.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't think there is a quick way. I think you have to do the grunt work. I think you have to go through every step and every stage and listen to as many clients and do as possible to then be able to help you automate in a strategic way, step by step. So that's the way I approached it. If I automated too quickly, I think that would have impeded our growth. So I feel that the best way to approach it is even if you focus on one new automated process per week, it might be just one step in your process that you might go, okay, how can we, make that quicker, or how can we refine that, and just slowly introduce it. And then you test it, because sometimes the automation doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to be doing too many automations at once. And then how do you just be going crazy, and that's not good for the client and not good for your staff. So I really do think it needs to be staged, and not too overwhelming all at once.
Let's talk about your numbers for a minute. So can you tell me about your monthly revenue?
That we've seen rapid growth, but I find that we see an increase, of, let's say 25-30%, and then it sort of hovers, for that, it sort of stabilizes for 3 or 4 months, and then you have to go, okay, how am I going to now get it to that next level? And so at the moment that's the mark we're at. And I need to change something if I want that to grow. But I'm also very much about not growing too quickly, making sure that that we're on top of everything to be ready for that next growth stage. Because I don't like being out of control. I like things to be, done properly. So that's where we're at the moment.
Well, that's incredible, and congratulations. It's not often that very rare to hear about, a business growing that quickly, particularly a legal business. And you're right, you sort of get that growth, then you plateau to help you kind of catch up and plan the next stage, and then you get that growth and then you plateau. And can you tell us about your profit growth over that time?
Yeah, well, the profit when I was doing it all was exceptional.
Yes.
You can only grow so much, right? So you hit a point where you can't grow any further. So to be able to grow, you're going to have to sacrifice your profit margin, because you need to invest and you need to put people on. So I did see the margin go down, but now that we've got more automation and we've obviously got sort of fixed costs, the more we add, the higher it goes again. So it sort of changes, but I don't expect the profit margin that I have today, which is quite healthy, to be exactly the same when I scale up even further, because there's going to be more investment required. There's going to be more, I'll probably need a general manager at one point. So to be able to scale up, I'm going to have to invest more, which means less margin, less profitable, less margin, but not necessarily less profit. So to get more profit, need to scale up more, but it might be yes.
And how are you getting clients at the moment?
At the moment, it's all digital mainly and referral. So it started off just as Facebook through my own personal network, and just through people referring me through that, and then eventually starting to advertise. And I advertised through Facebook again, and I advertised through Google Ads. And then I did a bit of a Mamma Mia campaign. So Mamma Mia is a really good platform in Australia. So we did that. And I trial Instagram, I do LinkedIn. And that's, pretty much all, to be honest. So that's what's been working, is that digital strategy. But we get a lot of referrals. So a lot of people refer us on, and, so it's working, that referral.
So to kick it off, you said that you used your own sort of personal network on Facebook. So can you give an example of how you did that? And the reason I ask this is I think that when it comes to creating sort of a new online service, most law firm owners that sort of come in to scale up here at Automio are sort of like, well, how do I validate it? How do I get started? And they think that they have to kind of run, expensive ads from the get-go. But sometimes that's the case, but often it's not. Often it is leveraging your network. So how did you do that to get started?
Well, I at the start knew that I wanted to run a mediation practice, but I didn't know how it would exactly look and what exactly would be my niche. And I basically just thought, I'm going to help people, and I'm going to utilize my skills, my experience of having gone through separation, and also my mediation skills. And I'm going to help whoever needs my help at the time to help walk them through the process and support them. And so I announced on Facebook that I had become a fully qualified mediator and that I was now looking at setting up my own business, and that I would be very much looking for people that I could help through the separation process. And if you knew anybody, and I probably got about 6 or 7 people. And through those 6 or 7 people, I handheld, and they're all very different and all different circumstances and all different socioeconomic. And so it was through 6 or 7 different journeys, I was able to map out what I thought maybe my niche would be, what I'd like to do. So I worked out quickly what I don't want to do.
Which was what? What did you not want to do?
I didn't want the really, really high conflict stuff, like, where parents were withholding children, where there was, any violence, and that's where I really do believe that a law firm, and there's court cases, and, that's a different area to what I really at that time thought I want to help people who go, I just don't know where to start. And we've got 1 property or 2, and we just want it to be fair, and we don't know where to go. And so that's where I decided that would be my niche, would be to help people who just want a simple, cost-effective and affordable separation that is fair, and that preserves the well-being of families. Like, there are so many people who, they don't need the conflict, they don't want the legal battle, and they just want to separate respectfully. So that's where I think that's where we wanted to focus. So we've been really, really strict on our ideal client, and we worked with you on that, and you helped us really, work out who our ideal client was, and through that we were able to develop our signature solution and advertise accordingly. So you know exactly who your target market is, and you're not wasting funds on such a large, broad audience. So I think that's been really helpful. That's been really effective for us.
Yeah. And so when you did that first post on Facebook asking if you could help anybody with separation, or did anybody know anybody, were you nervous about doing that post?
I was so nervous. I was like, I can't believe I'm putting myself out there. I mean, I'm known as a hotelier. Like, I had a hotel, and I'm a marketer. That is my background. So people have known me to work in our family business. So we have a property development business. My father does. So people always knew me as being, to actually, no one even knew that I studied family law mediation. So to then put that on Facebook and say, I'm thinking of a completely different career, a complete move, and I want to help people separate. It was like it attracted a lot of attention, actually, with my network of friends and family. It's like, what the hell? How did this happen? So it, and from there, it just built and built.
Yeah. And so just to clarify, you did that post on Facebook last year.
I did that in, I think, May last year.
And so you have grown your legal business, your mediation practice to over 200K months in that time. I just want to clarify that.
Launched,
because I just think that's so incredible. Just want to press that point.
Oh, okay. I launched in July 2020.
Yes. And it's now September 2021. Yeah. So 16 months.
That's 15 months. Yeah.
15 months. Yeah. And it all started from that Facebook post.
Yeah, it started, but I did a lot of work in the foundational stage before I launched. So I obviously, I did a business plan. I did all, a marketing plan, and then I did the client, serve those friends and family people. So it was sort of a 6-month planning journey before I actually launched. And when I launched, I didn't exactly set the world on fire. I went, oh my God, where have I gone wrong?
Yeah.
It took about 3 months for the website to start attracting the right client and for business to start coming through the door. So the first 3 months was tough, and it was, a lot of work and a lot of 1%ers, just every day, just really determined. And eventually I think it was September last year, I went, I think I've got something.
Mm, mm. And you talked about, your niche and your ideal client. And so I think that, a lot of law firm owners that I work with and that I talk to really struggle initially with the concept of niching, because there's concerns that they'll lose revenue, they'll lose clients, they'll lose face, they'll damage their reputation. So, how important do you think niching is and really focusing on that one ideal client?
Well, I was told very early on in the journey, why are you only focusing on that type of client? Like, you're stopping yourself from this huge market. And I'm like, I don't want to be all things to all people. I want to be really, and I also, I want to do work that is going to be aligned with my values. And also I want to do work that I enjoy, that I loved coming to it. So that was something that I really wanted to do. I wanted to have a job and create a business that was fun and that I loved. And I learned very quickly that that really high conflict type of separation didn't make me happy, because it was triggering, and it was just, why do I don't know, it's not for me, So I think it's really important, because then you are able to really concentrate on something you love to do, and you'll do it well because you love it and you're passionate about it. And then you're also able to really put your funds in a more, you're able to, what's the word, you target your funds to exactly attracting the ideal client, rather than spending your funds on clients that you may not even really want or not really able to serve that well. So to me, I think I'm big on niche marketing, and I think that's probably one of the fundamentals of why my business has, relatively succeeded.
So just going back to how you get your clients, so you do Facebook ads and Google ads, as well as referrals.
Yes.
So in terms of the Facebook ads and the Google ads, so like do you know sort of what percentage comes from that paid advertising versus referral? Do you know that breakdown?
I don't, unfortunately. I should, but I don't at the moment.
Is it more through referral or more through paid ads?
I think we would get more from paid ads.
Yeah.
We definitely get more through paid ads, but we have, I would say 20, look, this is just a gut feel. I'd say 20%, because we're not measuring that at the moment. There's a lot of people who may find us on paid ads, but they've heard about us through a friend. Yes. So we can't really measure that.
Yeah.
But I get messages literally maybe 2 or 3 a week, just from like people who I went to school with in primary school, who have seen me on Facebook and said, hey, I've got a friend that, can you help? Just that type of, so but I haven't got an actual measurement and metric for that yet.
Yeah. And so with the paid ads, so somebody will see the ad and they'll click on it, and then where do they go? Do they go to your website?
Yes. So they, depending on the ad, right? So you have different ads for different products or for different services. And so you have a specific page, a landing page that you would use that is targeted to the service that client wants. So I don't send my clients to my homepage necessarily. If someone's looking for financial settlement, they'll go to a financial settlement page. That's, so we're all about just really targeting our, and if someone's interested in child support, they'll go to a child support page. That's where they go.
Right. And so they go, so somebody who, say, clicks on the child support ad and goes to the child support page, what do they do then? Do they book an appointment with you, or do they, download some sort of guide, or what happens?
Yes, so they've got a choice. So they can download a checklist on separation, where they will go on to our database, and we can, provide them with blogs and so forth. So that's sort of like a soft lead is what we would call it. But we also have a quiz, which we designed with you, with your company, Automio. And we have it's a quiz that helps, it's a quiz designed to get the client to book a consultation.
Yes.
Okay, so it's very carefully crafted quiz, which I think is really important. So, and people have the option of either just completing the quiz and just going onto our database.
Yes.
Or if they're more ready, then they can book a consultation. But the quiz is designed to almost give confidence to the client as they're going through the quiz, that they feel comfortable in your service. So it's not just any quiz, it has to be carefully crafted.
And so when somebody then books a call, who do they meet with? Do they meet with one of the family lawyers that you have as part of your team?
Yeah, so they meet with a mediator, and basically a mediator will handle the call and basically determine what they, book them in for a mediation. We generally speak to both parties. So we'll speak to one and then we'll speak to the other, and then we'll organise, whatever they need. So we'll.
Yeah. So in terms of what your services actually are, so can you sort of take me through the different services that you offer, and who are they for? Are they for the couple, or for one partner, or for both? How does that work?
We mainly work with couples. So we work, but generally one party or one client will ring us first.
Yes.
They don't necessarily ring at the same time.
Yes.
Very rarely does that happen. So we need to get both on board. To be able to participate in the process with us, we need both parties on board. And we work out what is it that they are wanting to achieve, whether it be in the form of financial settlement, whether it be they need help in determining parenting arrangements, whether it be that they also would like to transfer a property, as part of, they may have already reached agreement and they're like, okay, we also want to transfer one property over and we also want to create a will. So what I've done is I've got a whole host of different services that are complementary, that I use third-party providers, and I basically help people access all these services that we're almost like a hub, if you like. So we help them reach agreement, and then we help make it legal with third-party legal services. We help them transfer properties. We help them create a will. We help them with whatever they require. They need a divorce coach. We've got a divorce coach as well. So we basically tailor a package for them, so they have a pathway and they go, okay, I now know what I need to do.
Right.
So I know now that I need to update my will. I need to get conveyancing, because I'd never heard of a conveyancing before, or a spousal. So we actually educate people on what they may need based on what they're trying to achieve.
Right. And so that's all determined, that pathway is all determined on that initial call?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And is that all done online?
Everything's online. Yeah. We don't have any offices.
Yeah. It's all virtual, all done by Zoom.
All done by Zoom, yeah. And our mediators and lawyers are Australia-wide.
Yeah. What would you say is your most effective growth strategy to date?
I couldn't tell you. I think it's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of everything. I think, obviously, you can't have one without the other. You can't have a big advertising campaign if you don't get the ideal client right, if you don't get the website right, if you don't get it, it's all the components have to be right. So I think it starts with, how do you get a good website? Well, you have to identify, what's the branding? What do you stand for? So I think every component is important.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can have one without the other.
Yeah. Yeah. And what would you say is the biggest barrier to growing your firm?
Well, I think finding like-minded lawyers, that want a less stressful, way to separate. Like I think a lot of lawyers have worked in a traditional format, and they're used to billable hours, and they're used to a particular way and of working. And this is a completely different way of working. We're fixed pricing. So we provide that certainty for clients. We work with people who really want to help parties avoid a legal dispute, avoid a legal battle, who have a heart. That's what we struggle, is to find those lawyers that want to work in a more modern way.
And are you looking for those types of lawyers at the moment?
Yeah, we're looking for lawyers who want less stress, for work. So they're not really interested in litigation. People who are looking for work that is, you know, a lot more, you're working with couples who want to separate respectfully. I mean, how much easier is that? People who, lawyers who want flexibility in their jobs. You know, they've got a family and they need to have flexible hours, so people who are looking for flexibility and want less stressful work. And want to help people separate more respectfully. I think that's what we're looking for. It's more like a collaborative type lawyer. Mindset.
And how many of those sorts of lawyers do you sort of need to bring on board to get the growth that you're looking for? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, I think we can only grow if we have these lawyers, and at the moment we have got the capacity to grow further, but I know we're going to get to a stage where we are going to need more and more. And so I'm interviewing at the moment and looking for more lawyers who are interested in working in a more flexible way.
And the lawyers that you're looking for, are they like lawyers who own their own firms?
Yeah, more independent legal practitioners, not necessarily law firms, like more independent legal practitioners, or, you know, mothers who have taken off time and they want to join the workforce again but don't want to go back to a traditional setting. They want to work from home, need flexibility, so they can do all their calls from home. And they can basically set their own calendar and say, right, I want to work 2 hours a day or for 5 hours a week. They can set their own time, their own calendar. So it's really for I think that's the market, is for independent legal practitioners working from home who like to, still work, but it not be the dominating part of their life.
Right. And so how do you go about finding these sorts of lawyers?
Talk to people like you.
Yeah.
Like now, hopefully.
Well, hopefully there'll be some people watching this who, you know, this resonates with, and they can get in touch.
So far it's been word of mouth, you know, talking to people and them, you know, someone saying, well, I've got a family lawyer that I've told them about your story and about your business, and they're really keen. And then before you know it, we say, look, why don't we trial it? Do a few of our clients, and they now are like, oh my God, I've never enjoyed being a lawyer more than I am now. I can't believe this is the most, like, the lawyers that work for me were almost stressed out, burnt out, only could earn a certain amount of money. It was capped. Now they earn more money in a less stressful, and they can work from home, and they've got complete flexibility. So I think it's a really attractive, proposition for people who meet that criteria.
And does it matter where they're located?
Not at all.
So it's Australia-wide?
Australia-wide.
Yeah. And are you looking at going like beyond Australia?
I'd like to do New Zealand next.
Yeah.
I think, and probably Canada after that. I think they're quite forward-thinking, both those countries, and I think our systems, you know, from what I've heard, are quite similar. So that's the vision.
Yes. Well, that's exciting. And so, final question that I ask everybody at the end: if there was one thing that you could change about the legal industry, what would it be?
Well, I think that when you go through separation and you go through court, you get court orders. And from what I see, when one parent breaches court orders, the punishment is not, there is little to zero punishment. And I think it's a real loophole in the system. And I really do think that a lot of people are abusing the legal system, and it's not protecting families. So I think that's the area that I'd love to really help people in that area one day. I don't know how, but people breaching, you know, it's an absolute waste of time doing a contravention of application in a lot of cases because it doesn't go anywhere. And the other party who doesn't follow the orders, you spent all this time, all this money going to court, you've gone through hell, and then the other party just still doesn't do the right thing, but the legal system doesn't hold them to account necessarily. So that's the area that I think needs to change.
Yeah. And is there change happening, or is it just not?
Apparently, like there's, in Australia, they've, merged the family court and the federal circuit court, and they're, allowing contravention of applications to be heard, within a 14-day period. But I don't think there's any change to punishment or consequence, or I don't know. I mean, apparently it's in a bit of a shambles at the moment. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know exactly, but I can only base it on the experiences of others that I've spoken to and my own personal experience. And I think there's an area there that really, needs to be reviewed and changed for the better.
Well, thank you so much, Christina, for coming on here today and joining me. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and a massive congrats on your epic growth. And I'm really looking forward to you hitting that 3.4 million and expanding into New Zealand. New Zealand definitely needs a bit of a shake up in that area. So looking forward to you coming over here, looking forward to seeing you go into Canada. So now you because you're doing so many fabulous, interesting things, I'm sure people are going to want to come and check you out, see what you're doing. So where can people find you online?
Yeah, so my website address is simple-separation.com.au. So, if you go to Google and you just type in simple separation, I'm sure we should come up at the top if I'm doing my advertising right.
Yeah.
So that's how you can find us.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, thank you, Christina. I have so enjoyed this chat, and I will catch up with you soon.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Bye.
If there's anything these past months have shown us, it's that the time to make lasting, impactful change in the legal industry is right now. So I want to challenge you to shake things up and create change today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video with your lawyer friends. See you next week.